Hello. Let's talk about the parts of a sentence. There's a lot of vocabulary you need to learn in English so that we can talk about the other things you need to learn. Some of the most important vocabulary is about grammar. In this lesson, we're going to talk about parts of a sentence. You probably already know a lot of this information in your own language, but we need to make sure you know it in English too. So, parts of a sentence. Many of the parts of a sentence have the same names as parts of speech, but there are some parts of a sentence that have different names. The two most important of those are subject and object. Subject. The subject of a sentence is the person, animal, thing, or topic the sentence is about. In a sentence with an action verb, the subject is who or what is doing the action. The subject of a sentence usually contains a noun or a pronoun. It can be one word or it can be many words. Right now, we'll just use one word. Let's look at this example. Example 1. Mary is eating some fish. Mary is doing something. What's she doing? She's eating. So Mary is the subject of the sentence. Example 2. Her boyfriend built a house. Her boyfriend did something. What did he do? He built something. So her boyfriend is the subject of the sentence. In a sentence with a non-action verb, which is usually be, the subject is also what the sentence is about, but no action happens. This kind of sentence just gives more information about the subject. Example 3. Mary is a little girl. Who is a little girl? Mary. So Mary is the subject of the sentence. Example 4. The bottle is pink. What is pink? The bottle. So the bottle is the subject of this sentence. The subject of a sentence usually comes before the verb, but not always. Example 5. There is a bottle on the table. In a sentence with there is or there are, the subject comes after the verb. What is on the table? A bottle. So a bottle is the subject of the sentence. You can check for the subject of this kind of sentence by rewriting it. Take out there is or there are and just say a bottle is on the table. What is on the table? A bottle. So a bottle is the subject of the sentence. Examples 5 and 6 have exactly the same meaning. They're just two different ways of writing the same information. Okay, objects. A sentence can have two kinds of objects: a direct object and an indirect object. Direct object. The direct object is the person, place, thing, or topic that receives the action. The direct object is usually a noun or pronoun. Example 7. Mary is eating some fish. We know Mary is the subject because she's eating. The question now is, what is Mary eating? That's easy. She's eating some fish. So some fish is the direct object of the sentence. Example 8. Her boyfriend built a house. We know her boyfriend is the subject because he built something. The question now is, what did her boyfriend build? Well, that's easy again. He built a house. So a house is the direct object of the sentence. indirect object. The indirect object indicates to whom or for whom the action of the sentence is being done. The indirect object is also usually a noun or pronoun. Example 9. Her boyfriend is building a house for Mary. We know her boyfriend is the subject because he's doing something. He's building. We know that a house is the direct object because it is being built. And we know that Mary is the indirect object because the house is for her. We can also show this information in a different way by writing a sentence like this. Example 10. Her boyfriend is building Mary a house. Be careful with this kind of sentence, though. A house is still the direct object, and Mary is still the indirect object, even though Mary and a house have changed places in the sentence. So, what do you think? Let's try a couple and see if you can get them right. Can you figure out the subject, direct object, and or indirect object in these sentences? Remember, not every sentence has all these parts. Take a minute to read the sentences and see what you think, and then I'll put the highlights in and show you the answers. Okay, let's look at number 1. My dog eats fish every day. Let's find the subject. Who eats? Who is doing the eating? That's the dog. So that my dog is the subject. Now, my dog eats something. What does he eat? He eats fish. So fish, oh, I'm making a mess here. Okay, let's try again. My dog is the subject, and he eats fish. So fish is the direct object. Now, every day tells us when my dog eats fish, and that's not a direct object or an indirect object or a subject. It's something else. So we won't worry about that. This sentence, number 1, does not have an indirect object. Let's look at number 2. What's the subject? There's no action verb, but the sentence is still about the chair. It's giving us information about the chair. It's telling us the color. So the chair is the important part here. The chair is the subject. Now, red is an adjective. It gives us more information about the chair, but it's not the object. It's not receiving any action because there's no action in this sentence. So this sentence, number 2, does not have a direct object or an indirect object. Let's look at number 3. Calvin danced very well. Well, somebody danced. Who? Calvin. So Calvin is our subject. He danced, and here we have very well. This is not a direct object or an indirect object. These two words are adverbs. They tell us how Calvin danced. So again, there's no object, indirect or direct, in sentence number 3. Sentence number 4. His mother broke her leg. Oh dear. Well, his mother did something. She broke something. So she is the subject. What did she break? Well, she broke her leg. And that is the direct object. Okay. Number 5. Jeremy sang a song to his baby. I think Jeremy's a nice guy. So, who did something? There's action here, which is sang. Who did it? Jeremy did it. So, Jeremy is the subject of our sentence. Now, Jeremy sang, he sang a song. Okay, so a song, that's what he sang, is our direct object. And then he sang the song to someone. He sang it to his baby. So his baby is the indirect object, right there. We could rewrite this sentence. Can you guess how? We could say Jeremy sang his baby a song. And this sentence has exactly the same meaning as the first one. We're just saying it in a different way. But we have to remember that his baby is still the indirect object, and a song is still the direct object. Because Jeremy can sing a song, he cannot sing a baby. Okay? And number 6, the subject. Well, the subject here is Susan, because Susan did something. She did something very nice. She bought something. Okay? And she bought, now did she buy her friends or did she buy tickets? Well, you can't buy friends, but you can buy tickets. So in this case, tickets is the direct object, and her friends is the indirect object. And I bet you can guess how to rewrite this sentence. We would say, Susan bought tickets for her friends. And the meaning would be the same. Susan is the subject, tickets is the direct object, and her friends is the indirect object. Okay, that's it for subjects and objects. Study this lesson well. It's important. There will be exercises connected to it. Bye for now.